Okay, thank you for this. So I'll just start with a bit of background on this work stream. Uh, so we like the merchant payments work stream compared to the previous uh, PIs wasn't that much active in this particular PI. Uh, I'll explain like what we have done so far in this PI and what are the challenges. So a recap that this work stream is basically related to the adoption of Mojo Loop, and merchant payments is an important use case compared to the transfers. Like payments is something where uh, there are different contextual information.
Sorry, Karim, you went back off on mute. If you want to come back on mute again, come off mute again.
So basically, we are like working on in this goal of this work stream is to identify the market needs to create necessary tools for supporting the adoption of Mojo Loop in merchant payments. Uh, so we actually like worked in PI 23 on building up a merchant registry and a merchant portal as a tool for increasing the adoption. So there was work done earlier, which was demonstrated in earlier PI. And the goal for the previous PI was, after the last convening, was that we published that as part of our production package of Mojo Loop, which has been successfully done. In this PI, we had kept few targets, which were around developing the APIs for the DFSP, which I'll speak a bit about, and then support for cross scheme or cross border merchant payments, and some like priority features based on any adopters' feedback. So uh, the items which we covered during this PI were uh, developing some standard APIs for merchant and alias registration. This is the work which has been done in Rwanda by Wired In team, who is a member of this work stream. Uh, then there were additional features in the merchant portal. Again, this development was being done by the team Wired In team in Rwanda. So a bit of context here that the work which we had done previously was used as a basis by Wired In team to there is an ongoing on-prem deployment of Mojo Loop by RSwitch in Rwanda. So the portal was used as a central portal where the DFSPs can actually register their merchants. So as an oracle also, and also for carrying out certain merchant payments related tasks. So this the base code was written as part of this work stream, and then it has been adopted in that particular deployment. And there are certain additional features which the team in Rwanda is working on, but we haven't yet merged them in our main code base. Uh, th- so we had a discussion during this PI about it, like, but since they're right now currently occupied with the work. So we have decided that once the work is finished, then we will look at how those features can be merged or upstreamed into the component which we have developed. So there's some work around cross scheme and cross border support. I'll speak about it in a moment, which is related to deployment going on hopefully in next coming months in the Comesa region. Uh, and then there is some work related to integration with Tazama, which is the FRMS system, the fraud and risk management system. In last convening, we had some feedback on few points uh, which were just highlighted at the like during the convening. that we should work about. I've listed them down, but in this particular PI, we did not have enough resources to work on these points. So, a milestone which we have achieved is that as part of Mojo Loop's Zambezi release, which is 16.1, the merchant beneficiary portal and merchant payments registry, the component, this is also now going to be formally part of the Mojo Loop package. So all the work which was required around making sure that it is a release candidate software and it can be merged, supplied with Mojo Loop, that was done by the team. Major work was done by Thitsa Works team in this. So this was the first point which I just said, that the team completed all the checklist items to make sure that they can merge that as part of the upcoming release of Mojo Loop. The Wired-In team, I've talked about the standard APIs for merchant and alias registration in the component. So when we developed the portal, it was assumed that the DFSPs would need a user interface for registering merchants and getting their alias registered. We had a request from the Wired-In team, and they worked on these APIs to ensure that those DFSPs who do not want to use that separate portal, but they want to integrate their own in-house systems with that, so they can do so. The other thing which they've done is normally when we do an alias inquiry, the request is passed to ALS and it goes to the Oracle, and then the DFSP is identified, and that request goes all the way to the DFSP. In that particular deployment in Rwanda, there was a requirement that the DFSPs, since they've already uploaded their merchant details in the Oracle, so there was a direct alias inquiry from registry itself. So that has been done, and similarly, a bulk merchant onboarding facility to onboard merchants using a file. If there is an existing network which is of a DFSP which is joining the Mojo Loop network. So these items have been worked upon, but we haven't merged them in our standard release. So once the team is ready, then we'll start that discussion. With Tazama, which is the FRMS, open source FRMS, the Basis Labs team is working with Tazama team. And what we have done is started exploring the integration between FRMS and the merchant registry. So a bit of context here that the FRMS system primarily takes the transactional data as a feed or as an input from the payment system, like Mojo Loop, and uses those transactional data, whether provided in the quotes or transfer phase, to form a picture of a transaction and then run various rules against it to evaluate a fraud. We feel that there is a need for passing on the merchant profile to the FRMS system also, and this part is being now discussed, that if we have an Oracle which has got merchant data, how that entity level data of the merchant can be used to improve upon the fraud and risk management. So these discussions are quite in a initial phase right now, but the idea is that from a merchant payments perspective, how this data collected in an Oracle can be used for entity, identifying the entity for who is part of that transaction, and improve upon the fraud and risk management. About the cross scheme and cross border support work, in this particular area, we participated actively in the inter-scheme work stream to understand what are the suggested design for discovery of a payee in a cross-scheme context. So the merchant payments workstream is now obviously dependent on like getting this design finalized, so that based on this, if there is any change in the registry as an Oracle, then those changes can be implemented. So in the upcoming PI, what we are looking at is on the basis of the solution being finalized for merchant registry, whatever updates are required based on the work of inter-scheme work stream, those will be done. Further, like to define the role of a merchant registry or Oracle to provide entity-related data to an FRMS system. And besides that, any other items based on community or adopter feedback. One challenge I would say we are encountering now is that, like previously, we had thought of working on certain items on our own, but as I had mentioned in the last convening as well, that we want to hear more from the adopters or from community to prioritize what kind of work should be done. Another thing is that a lot of active members earlier in this work stream are now quite busy with their projects. So any new members who want to join in to work on the like new tasks, they will be welcome. So this is a short presentation, and I can take questions now from anyone.